Good morning again, Oshkosh. This is Wednesday of EAA Airventure. Greg Thomas on the interviewing stand, and we've got some very good guests here today. They're with Sling Aircraft, and maybe it's not a household term, but we're talking with Wayne and Matt, and we're going to learn a little bit more about what's going on there. So we have Matt Leklicksky and Wayne Todden. They're from Torrance. Welcome, you guys, to Oshkosh.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you so much.
And we've got a lot of things going on here with Sling. And let's first of all just kind of start off and say that we're expecting some arrival of some guests here soon. Hopefully they make it. Let's start off with you, Matt. Can you tell us where they are and what the plan is?
Yeah, so the Sling High Wing aircraft, which has been in development for more than 3 years, it was actually anticipated at Oshkosh last year, but COVID restrictions prevented it from getting here. So it's been in development for about 3 years, hotly anticipated. It's the same type of airplane as our Sling TSI, which has become incredibly popular, but it is a high wing, so that means it's easier to get in and out of. So the first 3 of those airplanes has now flown from Johannesburg up to Angola, up to Ghana. These are monstrously long legs, and then to Cape Verde. And then straight across the middle of the Atlantic Ocean from Cape Verde Islands to Barbados. That was a leg of over 2,000 nautical miles. That's nice sound. That was a leg of about 2,000 nautical miles. And then from Barbados on to Bahamas, and then Bahamas to Florida. And now they're about to depart northern Kentucky en route to Oshkosh.
And we'll see them here in a little bit, hopefully, so let's get back to that before we go. Wayne, can you help us, where are you guys based at this point?
So we're in Southern California, Torrance, just a little bit south of LAX. So we build some of the Sling aircraft there with the distributor of the Sling aircraft, and we run the biggest flight school in LA, so Sling Pilot Academy.
Okay, very good. But some of the planes are manufactured there, but also in South Africa?
Yeah, so the school planes have to be manufactured in the factory in South Africa, but we do build assists of the Sling TSI, and we'll be doing build assists of the Sling High Wing as well there. So we've got quite a nice setup there. Okay,
can you go into a little more detail? I know Matt's already talked about it's a high wing, and it's able to fly across the ocean. Can you go into a little more detail on the aircraft itself?
Okay, so it's we call it next gen aircraft, or 2.0. So it's a full FADEC engine. It's using the Rotax 915IS, and it just sips gas. I mean, one of the reasons why we get to fly these long legs is it's burning about 7.5 gallons of fuel an hour, flying at 155 knots or more. So, they're very, very efficient. I've got one of the low wing TSIs, I love it. $100 hamburger, really is a $100 hamburger in our aircraft.
Did these aircraft that came across from Johannesburg, did they have to be retrofitted in any certain way to make those long trips?
Each of these airplanes has our standard extended wing tank. So many of our customers select the extended wing tank option. So 2 inboard tanks and 2 outboard tanks per wing. These particular aircraft also have aluminum tanks in the rear seats, large kind of ferry tanks in the rear seats that they can remove if necessary, and that extended their range. That extended their range to enable a flight like this. But our flight school airplanes, for example, they have a 10-hour endurance. The 2-seat airplanes in our flight school, 10-hour endurance. So it's kind of par for the course with these FADEC engines that just optimize economy automatically.
So obviously, Torrance, you're going to be in a Class Bravo airspace, correct?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, one of the things that's really good about the academy is, we're flying in the busiest airspace in the world. So, when our pilots head off to the airlines, they've just got tons of good practice flying in the LA base and using autopilot, using glass. Just really sets them well up for their commercial career.
Let's talk a little bit about the personalities involved here. First of all, Matt, maybe you can tell us who is the owner? The founder.
The founder of Sling Aircraft, the designer of the airplane is Mike Blythe. James Pittman is flying one of the airplanes, is his partner, and Andrew Pittman is another partner in the factory. But Michael I designed the Sling LSA, the two-seater we use in our flight school as the Sling NGT, the Sling Next Generation Trainer. He designed the Sling TSI, which has become incredibly popular here in the United States, and he designed the Sling High Wing as well. He was on board one of the High Wings until Barbados with the first U.S. Sling High Wing builder, Linda Solars. Linda's a JetBlue captain, and she spent 4 months in South Africa, like prototyping the first build assist program in South Africa of a Sling High Wing. In future, everyone will do build assist in Torrance for the US market, but she wanted to go to South Africa and do it there. So Mike and Linda flew one of the airplanes, Linda's. Mike jumped out at Barbados, and there's been other people along the ride. James Pittman is flying the original prototype Sling High Wing. He's one of the other partners in the factory there. He's going to arrive here today. And he's also had several co-pilots along the way. There's been a bit of chopping and changing. And then the third airplane was also a build assist airplane, also N-registered like Linda's airplane, build assist airplane in South Africa, and that's flown by JP Schultz, who's the Candorist on Instagram and YouTube. And he's also had several people joining him along the way. So those are the 3 airplanes.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning one of them is tricycle gear and 2 of them are tail draggers.
Okay, well, that's good. And hopefully they'll come and land right out in front of Air Central here. What got you interested, Wayne, in Sling aircraft?
I was actually a customer, so I bought the first TSI low wing, and I did what Linda just said. I went to South Africa and helped do the build assist there with my son Matthew, and I just had an absolute blast. I mean, they're just, great guys, the guys in South Africa, amazing aircraft. So it wasn't long before I actually approached Matt and Sean and said, if you guys want another business partner, I'd be happy to get involved. And I've kind of championed the pilot academy, so doing the compressed program. And the reason was is that my son, while we were in South Africa, he decided he wanted to be a commercial pilot. We came and checked out schools, and here I had this beautiful aircraft with Garmin G3X touch class, GTN 650, and then I was going to send him off to a school where they had a 50-year-old Cessna and steam gauges, and I thought something's wrong here. So I approached Matt and Sean and said, man, if you guys did a compressed program, you do really well, and of course they have. I mean, in just a few short years, we've become the biggest flight school in LA.
Wow. Your background, are you both familiar with South Africa?
Matt, I was born in South Africa, spent the first 22 years of my life there, and then moved to Los Angeles, and I've spent the last 22 years of my life in Los Angeles. And Wayne was born there too?
Yeah, I happened to be born in Bloemfontein in South Africa. But I actually grew up in Australia, but I still have a lot of relatives there, so when I went to do the build assist, I actually got to stay with my aunt and meet some of my relatives. It was a really fun trip for me.
Was that at all kind of a hope that you thought, oh, here's a South African airplane, I'm going to hop on Sling?
It felt right for me.
Yeah.
For some, I guess it felt good. Yeah.
You're at Oshkosh. You've had the Sling aircraft. Well, I wrote down the year 2009. What's significant about that?
Yeah, in 2009, the original Sling circumnavigation occurred with a stop in Oshkosh. So that was one of the first prototypes of the Sling 2, which we now use as the Sling NGT in our flight school, Sling Pilot Academy. And they did a total circumnavigation. That was Mike Blythe, the designer, and James Pittman, his partner. And they stopped here in Oshkosh, and I believe it was called Aeroshell Square. They parked the airplane there all week. And we've been here every single year with the Sling since. Of course, we've been to Oshkosh 21 times. But we've been here every year with the Slings, and we've had a couple of other circumnavigations over the years. Some of them missed Oshkosh. But adventure is really a part of the DNA of the Sling brand. And the owners and founders and a lot of people involved love adventure, love the capabilities of the airplane, and are always kind of pushing the limits. And a flight like this with 3 high wings crossing the middle of the Atlantic is a testament to that.
Yeah, and that's worth mentioning too. Like we really like to put the aircraft to the test. So we've had like my aircraft up to 30,000 feet, for example, which is, I think really impressive.
We're going to try Our guests here this morning are Wayne Totten and Matt Nikolitsky. They're both with Sling Aircraft based out of Torrance. Getting into a few last items here before we have to go. Are there more distributors around the United States besides the Torrance?
We are the sole distributor for North America. We have several dealers and build centers around the country. We've got some in the Midwest, we've got some in Florida, in the Northeast. So there are little Sling kind of communities that are developing all over the country. The Sling TSI is such a popular airplane. The capabilities that it has in the economy of operation, like $60 an hour to operate, is very attractive to people. We've sold approaching 80 Sling TSIs in the USA. And we've taken orders for 50 high wings, so it's become incredibly popular. Our Build Assist Center in Torrance has got about 9 airplanes in progress, and we push them through in 3 to 4 months. So we've got an extremely busy build center with owners coming in and doing their required tasks, and beautiful Sling TSIs coming out the other end every month.
Is it like building any other aircraft that you just kind of have to keep your nose to the grindstone? Otherwise, it sits in your garage or your shed.
Well, that's what makes the Build Assist so good. That's why I chose the Build Assist, because you've got experts standing right next to you. And I remember, when I was in South Africa, I did the safety wiring on the prop, and luckily I had someone looking over my shoulder and said, "That's very nice, mate. Let's try and do that again." So they're there to make sure that you do a good job.
Very good. In the remaining minute or two we have here, let's again recap what's happening today. Matt, can you tell us the aircraft, where they're at and where they'll be visible here?
Yeah, so it looks like they're about to depart northern Kentucky. They're around Louisville, and they might have just departed right now. It looks like they're still on the ground. They're about to depart Louisville, Kentucky.
FlightAware is so great, isn't it?
Yeah. When they do depart, they've got approximately a 2.5-hour flight if we're lucky to get here. So we're going to coordinate their arrival. We had an arrival slot from 10:30 to 11 just in front of Boeing Plaza. They're going to miss that. So as soon as we kind of get an update on their ETAs, we'll be able to advise the people that are following them where we're going to meet them and give them a nice warm welcome.
Okay. One last thing too, when you see a high wing flying by, a lot of people can say, "Oh yeah, that's a Cessna," or whatever it is. Is there any distinguishing features, Wayne, that you can tell that, well, that's a Sling?
That's a great question. So we've got no wing struts. If you see it,
You'd say it's a Cardinal then.
Oh yeah. It has quite a unique look to it, the TSI, and the fact that it doesn't have any wing struts makes it easy to identify. Anything else, Matt?
Yeah, just clean lines. All airplanes that fly well and perform well look good and look sexy. And this is one of those airplanes like your Cardinal. It has clean lines. It has a modern look to it. It does not have the appearance of a legacy airplane. And of course, most of the magic happens under the skin, but it's got real clear lines, no struts, and really beautiful to behold.
And they achieved that with a carbon fibre midsection in the fuselage. So really innovative design.
Well, I look forward to seeing it, and hopefully they arrive safely and very soon here. Matt and Wayne, thank you for being up here. And let's not just end it today. Let's keep coming back and visiting with us. You guys do a wonderful job in the interview, and look forward to seeing that Sling.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Again, our guests this morning are Wayne Totten and also Matt Nikolitsky from Sling Aircraft out of Torrance, California. And we'll turn it back to the main studio here for more interviews.
Cheers, thanks, Greg.
That was awesome.
That was fantastic.
Nice chatting with you.